I'm here with Chris Mills, our Commissioner of Public Works and Transportation, and we're located right now at the Robert Austin Works Department. And it's January, and something that happens in Canada every year. We get snow.
That's right.
And this is what everybody wants to know. Will our streets get plowed?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, it's a great question, and we get it often, and you respond to a lot of those questions over your Twitter and your email, and absolutely, your streets will be plowed. We do it on a priority basis, though. It's done based on the level of traffic and the type of road. For example, a road like Trafalgar or Mountain View will get plowed first. And under the rules that we follow, which is called the minimum maintenance standards, we're obligated to do these roads first, and we're obligated to keep them at a certain level during the entire winter event. So think about it, while it's snowing, we have to continually be on those roads. And what that does to our operations, Mr. Mayor, is it precludes us sometimes from getting on some of those smaller streets. And that's when, as you know, you get a lot of those calls saying, yeah, where are we? Why are you not? Well, we will get there, but we're on the larger streets. And typically, a lot of the smaller streets we may not get to until the actual snow event is over. Sometimes 24 to 48 hours, depending on how much snow we need to take care of. And one final note I would say, typically our cul-de-sacs are the last road that's done. And that's really because we need to bring in a different piece of equipment. We need to bring in smaller trucks, and oftentimes we have to remove some snow if the snow banks are getting too large.
So we're also looking at ways of improving snow removal or ice in event of it's an ice event, but generally for a snowstorm, we're always looking at improvements. So what improvements have we done for this year?
Yeah, it's a great question, Mr. Mayor, and we'll remember back to the winter of last year's winter, and we were inundated with a number of smaller storms, a lot of ice events that really impacted our roads and in particular our sidewalks. So as part of the review of the 2019 events, we did bring forward, as you'll remember, to council some suggestions and some recommendations. And what we were able to do is increase our resources so that we could really get on those sidewalks early and deal with the ice accumulation on the sidewalks, as we want to be known as a community that you can walk around all year round, not just on the on nice hot summer days. In addition, we've purchased a new piece of equipment called a two-stage plow. And what that does is it allows us to get in on some of these more urban streets and get the slush and some of the ice before it forms hard on the ground off. And we're hoping that that will then create a better riding surface. And finally, we're really focusing this year on our communications and trying to get more information out to the public so they know some of those trouble spots to stay away from. As you're very familiar with the community, you know a lot of our north-south roads in the rural area are very prone to icy, windy, blizzardy conditions because of the wind and how it comes often across those farmers' fields. And sometimes we can do our best to keep the roads clear, but Mother Nature sometimes does get the best of us.
And I've noticed there's been a change in climate change the last 5 years. For instance, I think the last couple of years, we've had ice storms in April.
Yeah. And
this winter we've actually had we had January weather in November, and November weather. Yeah. Now in January we had 70 millimeters of rain, so the temperatures are changing all the time. But I guess in your job to be prepared.
Yeah.
So I'd like you to tell our viewers about the equipment we have here.
Well, we're standing in front of a large vehicle. This is called a tandem, with one of our snow blades on the front, and it also has a large box that we use either for sand or salt. We have about 17 of these types of vehicles, and we do use them 24/7. In addition, we've got a number of single axle trucks, a number of multi-purpose tractors or pieces of equipment that we use on our sidewalks. And these are all used year-round. As you know, we're in our mechanics bay, and Often we have 2 or 3 pieces of equipment in here being serviced. The mechanics work also around the clock when we are in full winter control, as we were this past weekend with the substantial amount of rain that we did get, so that they can make any last minute repairs or quick fixes to the equipment. In terms of using the equipment, we have enough equipment so that we run 3 shifts typically through the year or through the winter, so that we can provide that 24/7 coverage. And we have about 54 full-time staff that undertake winter control, and then we brought in an additional 10 this year through the seasonal side.
And I think it's worked out quite well. I've gone to the 2 downtown areas of both Acton and Georgetown after a snow event, and I've seen the people, our employees out there at 8:30 in the morning when I come by, and I know they're up there earlier getting the downtown businesses sidewalks are cleared. We've, as you know, Town of Halton Hills Council, we've passed a resolution of a green plan to come forward due to the climate emergency. Do you ever see someday of having electric vehicles?
Yeah, it's a great question, Mr. Mayor. Since passing that resolution, staff have been working diligently to review what opportunities are out there right now. What I can say is that our fellow department, our fire department, is in the process of acquiring a few electric hybrid vehicles for their supervisory fleet. Right now, unfortunately, the technology just doesn't exist for these large tandem type vehicles. Recognizing that they do have to run almost 24 hours straight when we are in a winter control event. That said, we're always looking for opportunities, and as we start to replace smaller, like pickup trucks as an example, if they become commercially available, we will absolutely look at those opportunities. What I can say is over the past couple of years, we have started transitioning to electric, use of electric for smaller pieces of equipment like chainsaws, leaf blowers, lawnmowers, that. So we're getting into that space. We're not completely converted, but obviously with your direction and support and council overall willingness, we will continue to improve our use of electric, both in small equipment and vehicles.
So thank you very much, Chris, for joining us today. And this is a wrap for our very first segment, bringing our information to you. We hope you found the segment very informative. I'm Mayor Rick Bonnette, Town of Halton Hills, keeping it real.